You may have come across a little something called COD. Now, COD has got nothing to do with fish. COD stands for collect, organize, and do. Now, it's the basic, absolute fundamental foundations of any solid productivity system. We need to collect the stuff that's coming at us. At some point, we need to organize that stuff, and then we need to get on and do the work that that stuff has generated. Simple in theory, however, in practice, things can get a little bit crazy, a little bit complicated. And today, what I want to do is share with you a really simple 3-step process to making this work for you so that you are clear about what needs to be done, and rather more importantly, when you're going to do it. Now, the collecting part is generally fairly straightforward. For most of us, we probably would have our mobile phone as our ubiquitous collection tool, because this is probably with you everywhere you go, whether you go out, whether you go to the bathroom, whether you're sat at your desk. This is probably going to be close by, and it's going to be the fastest way to get something into your system. Now, there are other ways, of course. When I finish here in the office late in the evening, what I will do is I will put my phone on the kitchen table and then go to the sofa, which is a good few meters away, so I do not get pulled in by my phone, and just have this little pocket notebook sat next to me. It's a great collecting tool because I have ideas when I've finished work, and also my wife tells me, will you do this tomorrow? Will you do that tomorrow? Blah, 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 blah. So I need a way of capturing that, and rather than going and getting my phone and opening up another screen, I can just write it down in here. First thing I do when I come through to the office in the morning is I check what I wrote the night before. That's another way. Now, if you're sat at your desk using your computer, that's obviously going to be another quick way to collect stuff. So we have multiple ways of being able to collect stuff. Generally, that's not the problem. The problem is often that our task managers, for example, Todoist, make it super simple and super fast to get stuff into them. So if we come across a YouTube video that we want to watch, we will save it into Todoist or your task manager. If I come across an article that I think, oh, I want to read that, we often move it into our task manager. But are they really tasks? Well, at this stage, we're just collecting. It doesn't matter. You can throw whatever you want into your task manager's inbox because it's just the collecting point. All you have to do is make sure anything that is on your radar, anything that you want to collect, is caught into that inbox. And then we come to the organizing part. Now here, I realize that there is a gap between what we've collected and how or when we organize. Because if you've collected a lot of stuff but never organized, you've now got a barrier, a roadblock of anything, where nothing is getting through, so nothing is actually getting done. What usually happens in that situation, we start living out of our inbox and only picking up the urgent things. Not a great way to run your day effectively, and certainly not a productive way to run your day. However, the organizing bit is really rather simple. There are just 3 questions that you need to ask yourself. The first is, what is it? Now, what is it is really defining what it is. Is it a calendar appointment that needs to be put on your calendar? Is it a note that should go into your notes app? Or is it a task that needs to be done at some point? That's it. What is it? Is it a calendar event? Is it a note? Or is it a genuine task? 3 areas that these things can be. They cannot really be anything else. It's a task, it's a calendar event, or it's something that needs to be added to your note. So that's the first step when you go through organizing. Really, you just take it from the top and just work your way down, deciding what it is, what you need to do, and really when you're going to do it. But that first question, what is it? We're just defining what it is that we're looking at in our inbox. And then the next question. Okay, so I know what something is. It's an appointment. I know it might be a note, and I know it might be a task. Well, the next question is, what do I need to do with it? Well, if it's an appointment, such as Louis' next grooming appointment, that just needs to go onto my calendar. So all I would do is open up my calendar, go to the date that the appointment is, and add it to my calendar. Then there's, what is it, if it's a note, then it might be that I just need to copy what I captured and paste it into my note, or it might be I need to create a new note from it. Now there is a kind of another one here because I use something called Readwise. Now Readwise collects all my articles, and if I have an article, I'm going to open the article and then send it to Readwise. Now, to be fair, I probably would do that without it going to my Todoist inbox because Readwise makes it super simple to get stuff in there. But that's just a rare occasion that I might just be on my phone and just go, oh, I need to capture this quickly. And just because I've got muscle memory to save it to my task manager, it just ends up there. All I would do is open the article, save it to Readwise, and then it can be read later. And finally, there's also things like YouTube videos I should point out, which I collect throughout the day that I want to watch. And again, I would probably, my system with YouTube videos is to open the YouTube video, run it for a few seconds, and then pop out. That way, what I will do is simply come back to it later in the evening when I've finished my work and run through my history, and all those videos are collected there. Now I'm only collecting probably one or two every other day, so it's not like I have to do this every day, but it's a nice way of just getting them out of my system. What is it and what do I need to do if it comes to a task? Well, that then leads to the third question. So I have decided that it is a task. It needs to be done. So what is it that I need to do? Now, often when we put a task into our system, we're not being very clear because we're doing it in a rush. So we need to first make sure it's clear. Might put a action verb into the actual task. So what is it? I need to write something. I need to call somebody. I need to email somebody. I need to sign a document. Whatever it is, you need an action verb, if you're using English, in the task itself. And then we go to the next question. The final question is, when am I going to do it? So when am I going to do it really depends on the urgency of the task. Now, not all tasks need to be done immediately. Often we think they do, but quite often we can just step back for at least a few hours and say, I'll come back to that later in the day. Those are more of the urgent ones. Hopefully you don't get too many of those each day, because if you do, then it's going to be very difficult to get anything meaningful done each day if all you are doing is reacting to stuff that's come in. However, when it comes to when am I going to do it, let me just kind of outline this, and I will probably do another video on how to do this in a future episode. But really what we're looking at is, how am I going to manage my day? Now, what I'm looking at for most people, and this is what I do with a lot of my coaching clients, is try to get some structure into the day. So for instance, if I have a task which says I need to email somebody or call somebody or message somebody, I'm going to do that in my next communication time. Now, I have time protected every day, at least 30 minutes, for sitting down and dealing with all my actionable emails. One of the most inefficient ways to manage your day is to react to messages as they come in, because now you're not going to be able to focus on anything that needs focus, or at least needs time for you to do the work. So I tend to push everything and batch process it as late in the day as I feel comfortable doing. So normally it's about 4 o'clock. Sometimes I might do it after dinner. So that's usually an easy one to deal with. Any communication tasks are generally easy because I know every day I've got time set aside for doing my communication. Similarly with admin tasks, again, I generally have another 30 minutes somewhere in the day where I can actually just sit down and deal with the admin. I've learned from experience that if you leave all your admin tasks, because they're generally not urgent, until the last thing in the week, either Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, then it's 2 or 3 hours that I need to find, which I don't want to do. I find 30 minutes a day keeps all that in check. And then there are the other tasks, the random tasks that you just need to do. Now, in my case, I have a focus block time every day between 9:30 and 11:30. This is the time now. As I'm recording this video, not necessarily when I'm editing it, but when I'm recording it, it is between 9:30 and 11:30. It's my focus 2 hours every day. Again, I know not all of you will be able to do that because it does depend on the kind of job you're doing, but what you want to be trying to do is just find the time in the day where you can just protect it for doing specific types of work. But then with those tasks that don't neatly fit into any of these categories like admin or communication or focused work, those ones need to time. You need to decide when you are going to do them. Now, my wife tends to give me a lot of these tasks. For instance, she has asked me to wash down and get the terrace ready for the spring. We're very much, because we're getting very close to the warmer weather here in Korea. So now I need to think, well, okay, that's a 3 or 4 hour job. When am I going to do it? Well, the only time, as I was looking in my calendar, the best time for me to do that is going to be on a Saturday afternoon, because generally it's quieter for me then. I can just get on and do it. So hopefully in the next week or two, one Saturday afternoon, I will do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule that task for a Saturday, and then I know at some point I will do it in the next 2 weeks. I have to do, or else I'll be in trouble. And then there's other tasks that think, oh, I need to get this, I need to call into the post office, I need to call at the pharmacy. Again, what you'd need to do at that point is just look at your calendar and say, Thursday afternoon is quiet, I don't have any meetings, I will call in at the pharmacy or the post office after lunch on those days. That's really what you're doing. So you probably need to have, or you do need to have, your calendar open. And that's it. So we're collecting all that stuff. That's generally fairly easy to do, but that bridge, we need to find a bridge between collecting and organizing. How do we organize that stuff so it's out of our sight and it's scheduled and we know what it is and when we're going to do it? And that's just by asking those 3 simple questions. What is it? Is it a calendar event? Is it a note? Is it a task? What do I need to do? Well, if it's a calendar event, you just move it on your calendar. If it's a note, you move it into your notes app. If it's a task, you need to be very clear about what it is you need to do. For instance, clear and prepare the terrace for the spring. That would be the way I would write that task. And finally, you need to decide when are you going to do it. Now, is it going to be this week, next week, this month, next month? Most often than not, it's either going to be this week or next week. It's rare that we end up putting stuff into next month or long term and on hold, but it could be, oh, I'd like to do that sometime, long term and on hold. Oh, I need to do that in May next month. That's what we're just thinking, just moving things into their time sectors. Now, if you want to learn a little bit more about the time sector system, I have a course right now that's been recently updated called the time sector system, and it will show you how to manage all these tasks that are coming at you and give you some kind of structure to your days, your weeks, and your months, so that you're not feeling that stress, that anxiety that's holding you like every day. You just think, oh, I've got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. The time sector system takes that away because it focuses you on when are you going to do the work. Really simple course, and I'm sure you would enjoy it. I'll put the details of that in the show notes below. And that's it. So the COD framework, the COD system, if you like, is really the foundations of anything that you're doing when it comes to productivity. You collect some stuff. At some point in the next 24 hours, you need to organize that stuff. And finally, you need to decide when you're going to do it. You're going to do the work. COD, C-O-D. So hopefully you found this little explainer helpful. If you need any more information, I've got loads of videos on this YouTube channel. Just have a browse through. I'm sure you'll find something that you want. But if you want to learn more about how to structure your day so that you are more focused on the right things, then this video up here is the one to watch next.